Welcome to the Sykes Company PA video blog.
When we've got this cool new system set up, what should I be looking at and what should I be looking for?
That's an excellent question. And a lot of times, even the older pharmacy owners don't know that because they've never been shown or have taken the time to learn exactly what they're looking at. And what we like to do is after the first accounting cycle, the month or whatever period of time we're setting up, is to actually get online, have a video conference call, and go through the financial statements and explain what you're getting, explain what you should be looking for, explain what the numbers mean, and that is a tremendous benefit. And a lot of times people will say that they never got that from somebody locally because could be a certain amount of fear of the distance or being online, but we can put that to ease by the video call and just going through everything with them.
And you do an awful lot of these, so you really know how to show people what to look for.
Oh yes, oh yes. That's just part of what I do. My actual work is a lot on the quality control end, going through the financials, getting them straight, and then helping people understand exactly what they're looking at. Yes. And we like for people to look at their financial statements and to know that they're theirs and they use them because that's what it's all about. It's for them.
How often should I be looking at my financial statements?
Well, we try to get the financials out the next month by mid-month, certainly towards the end of the month. And as soon as we send them to you, that's when you should be looking at them and going through them and see if you've got any questions or see if there are problems or you think there's something wrong. That's when you should look at them.
And how often, especially with a new pharmacy owner who might not be familiar with looking at financials, how often would I call you with questions? I mean, how often commonly do you talk to a new owner?
Right at first, they usually call more, trying to get their feet wet, understanding what they're looking at. But then certainly anytime there's a question or a problem or anything, just give us a call. And we're all accessible, even after hours, we can respond and get back to you pretty quickly.
What's your favorite part to explain?
To explain?
Yeah, like I'm new, I'm looking at my financials. It's all just a bunch of crazy numbers, and I don't even know what it means. What's your favorite moment that you get to show somebody?
I love, and see, this is an accountant, but I love there's a big monthly side-by-side expenses, income statement and expenses, and it shows them every month what a certain category has been doing and whether it's gone up or down, and they can see a pattern and understand, oh, I need to look into that. So I like that part of it. Yeah.
Nice. Are there common like trouble spots that you routinely show people, like, hey, keep an eye on this?
Salaries, yes. For a pharmacy, we like to zero in and say, your salaries are, well, you want to keep the profit ratio, your gross profit percentage. You want to look at that, but then the major expenses, that percentage of income, and a lot of times it's salaries or rent that is the larger numbers, and so you want to keep those in line. It's a hard subject to talk about sometimes, but you have to talk about the tough things too. So,
Can you think of an example or two of like the biggest difference you've made for somebody, like in the first 3 to 6 months, where they've got these numbers from this pharmacy they bought, and you're able to make changes? What are some of the biggest differences?
um, yes, we've helped people to analyze the situations, to make those tough decisions for salaries, employees, to see if they've really got, more people than they need, if they've got the major categories of people that they do need, that don't have gaps in their employment. Um, uh, they might have operating expenses, supplies that are way out of line, their inventory, their daily cash controls. Unfortunately, we've helped people to spot problems where there might be things, walking out the door or that sort of thing, but we can zero in on those numbers and help them realize what's going on.
That sounds like that would make a pretty big difference. If you
Yes, yes.
And in terms of controls, do you often find that the controls are inadequate when you go to convert and set up the new pharmacy, or is that a more rare occurrence?
a lot of times the daily controls on cash are not there. In the heat of doing business, you forget about, well, you should be watching everything, and you don't want to not trust people, but you have to have certain checks and balances in place. That's just good business. And so we help them understand that and set those up.
What would you say are the pieces that go into the integrity of an accounting system?
Well, you have to know that, first of all, everything's being recorded, and that even though sometimes in certain situations it looks like things are being reconciled, the cash that's coming in and the things that are being sold, all those reports and everything seems to balance, but a basic control is, does that money get to the bank? And sad but true, we have seen situations where we had all these glorious reports and reconciliations, but it didn't tie in to what was actually going to the bank. So that's a very basic control that a lot of times is overlooked, because somebody can show you everything in the world but not really tie it all together. So that's the building block right there to get that.
It's the worst case scenario.
The worst case scenario, if it's November and nothing's been recorded all year or something like that, that can be pretty bad, but we can handle that too. I mean, it's really no problem. Or if somebody that really didn't know what they were doing and they were posting all this stuff on the books, we can get that cleaned up, and a lot of times we'll get the cleanup done before we actually convert the file over and get it set up. So I mean, we've seen all kinds of things. So it's really, it's just part of the day's work for us to get it going. And we like it. We're accountants. We like doing that kind of stuff. We like getting things straight and making it work right.
Thank you for joining us today. You can find more information and future video blogs at the Sykes website, www.sykes-cpa.com. If you have questions, please feel free to contact All in Sykes directly at the information listed below. Thank you.